Hello, 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 good morning. Hello, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Energy Town Hall. This is the largest gathering of experts in the petroleum industry, and it's been organized by the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors to essentially get to know the mind of the two major political parties going into this year's elections. We want to know their policies to govern the petroleum industry. We've got a number of very special dignitaries here today. I'll be introducing them to you shortly. But of course, let me start off by telling you my name. My name is Parkwisi Asare. I work for...
Good morning. Incoming Vice President, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, the running mate of the flag bearer of the new Patriotic Party. Mr. Perry Okujeto, Deputy Chief Executive of the National Petroleum Authority. Dr. Patrick Ofori, CEO of CBOD Industry captains, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed my pleasure to present the vision of His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the flag bearer of the new Patriotic Party for the years 2025 to 2028. Indeed, I'm sure that we will attest to the work that has been done over the past 4 years by the NPP administration. It is something that we can build on going forward. And so, without much ado, I'll go through the presentation, which is on Ghana's energy future, the NPP's vision for 2024 and beyond. So the outline of my presentation will take this form. It will start with achievements in the energy sector over the past 7.5 years. Power in focus, the petroleum sector in focus, local content, energy transition and renewable energy, job creation, and I'll conclude with some comparative analysis of what it is that we are presenting and what it is that the alternative is presenting. So when we came into government, over the past 7.5 years, we've increased electricity access to 88.5%. Renewable energy has increased to 171. We've added 134. We inherited a 37 megawatts of renewable energy. We've introduced 90 megawatts P of solar power. What we have sought to do in enhancing electricity accounting is to introduce boundary and distribution transformer metering across the ECG value chain. We have improved the collection of ECG, which was hovering in the region of some 480 million to in excess of 1 billion today. What it then means is that ECG is able to cover more of its bills than it used to do in the past. When we came into government, the tariff regime was a bit cumbersome. We had 6 bands which had varying tariffs cutting across every band. We've tried to reduce the bands from 6 to 2, which makes for tariffs was more expensive for commercial consumers than residential consumers. We felt that because of our industrialization agenda, it was important for us to invert that policy to make commercial consumption of electricity much more competitive or at par with residential tariffs. So we've tried to invert that. We expect that going forward, and when I get there, I would elaborate more on that, that we would pay less for commercial, or at least equal to residential for commercial consumption. Because of the difficulty that we had with Forex, we introduced the gold for oil policy, which mainly led to the reduction in premiums that our BDCs got from the region of 180 to 200 to abuse the international oil trading license regime to ensure fuel security. I'm sure we all recall the after options which had impacted petroleum product availability. So what we sought to do was to ensure that IOTCs had licenses that they could bring products and keep them in tank for sale at the outlets. We took a policy decision to reserve that solely for the blending of premix fuel, so that we can reduce the subsidy amount that government was paying and to bring the amount of money that we spent on that within control. So since that time, condensate, that is a derivative of the gas processing facility at Atuabo, has been solely reserved for premix fuel blending. We also, in our attempt to eliminate the health hazards that are associated with charcoal and wood fuel in cooking, introduced and distributed 430,000 cook stoves to ensure that our mothers have a healthy environment within which to cook. Again, we, through the Jubilee Southeast project, have increased our crude oil as a country by an additional 30,000 barrels. We acquired 7% additional interest in the 10 and Jubilee field when the Anadarko transaction was taking place. Anadarko was exiting and were selling their interest to the rest of their partners. Government took a policy decision that it was important for us to participate in our profitable assets, and so we negotiated and acquired an additional 7% interest in the Jubilee and 10 fields. We've taken a policy to align or realign some institutions within the energy value chain because we realized that there was some duplicity of the roles that were taking place, which then led to wastage. And so we've tabled before Parliament a policy or a law to merge PURC and Energy Commission so that we can bring some synergies in there. We also have rolled out a computer emergent energy response team. What then that does is to allow us to comply with a cybersecurity law because of the threats that our energy sector faced as a result of cyber attacks. Of course, I'm sure we all know the almighty take or pay power purchase agreements that we inherited. We've successfully negotiated 6 of them through the Project Light initiative that was started in 2017. Took a long battle, but finally we are there. Again, as part of the realignment within the power value chain, we are setting up Ghana Thermal Energy Authority to consolidate all the thermal assets of VRA, to set up another authority and to consolidate all the hydro assets of VRA and Bui Power. And so there is a proposal to merge Bui Power and VRA to create the Ghana Hydro Authority and to segregate the thermal assets of VRA into Ghana Thermal Energy Authority. Again, as part of our renewable energy agenda and our energy transition program, we have set up the Ghana Nuclear Power Authority, which is intended to create the requisite base load for us going forward. I'm sure that going forward you'll see that it's our intention to roll out 2,000 megawatts of solar, which really is interruptible power, and because of our industrialization agenda, it's important for us to have the requisite base load to complement that renewable solar that we are rolling out. So these are the things that we've done over the past 7.5 years, which I believe has impacted our energy sector significantly in the positive direction. But of course, there's a lot more work that has to be done. That is why going forward to the future, we are looking to roll out bold new energy solutions. One, to tackle the power sector issues like outdated infrastructure, lack of renewable energy investment, aging facilities in the generation, transmission, and distribution value chain, to try and reduce our losses in there and to deal with the inefficiencies that have led to shortages and high tariffs. We also intend to address the upstream and downstream petroleum challenges, such as declining discoveries and rising fuel costs. And again, to provide leadership and investment to address our energy transition, local content, and cybersecurity in the energy sector. These are the broad policy outcomes that we intend to achieve over the next 4 years. So I would zoom into power. As I indicated earlier, we intend to ensure that commercial electricity rates are equal or lower than residential rates to boost industries and support emerging sectors such as lithium and other metals. I'm sure we've all heard the work that we're doing in the manganese and iron ore space, which requires a lot of energy, and so we intend to roll out an attractive commercial tariff to deal with that. We've also indicated that we're rolling out 2,000 megawatts of solar power. This we intend to do through small household electricity, solar power systems, ministries, departments, and agencies, and also industrial solar. But how do we then get people to invest in these sectors? Is to provide some incentive that then allows them to offload their excess, we call the net metering, to give credit to solar power users for excess energy to feed into the grid, so that at the point where they also have to depend on grid power, they can swap at that point to ensure that they have some savings in that regard. We are also increasing our electricity penetration as a country. We intend to achieve universal access by 2028. Of course, the challenges that we've had in our distribution space, I'm sure we are all very much aware. ECG has had huge challenges. There was an attempt in the past to roll out some private sector participation that, owing to some breaches of the agreement, was truncated. We believe strongly that is a route to go to introduce efficiencies into the system. We intend to introduce, again, private sector participation, primarily to improve on metering, billing, and collection, and of course, customer service for the consumers. Of course, regulation is an important component of the sector, and so we intend to strengthen the regulatory oversight, as I indicated earlier, by merging two key bodies which regulate the technical and economic aspects of our power value chain. These are the PURC, which regulates economic, and also Energy Commission that regulates technical. We believe that there are some synergies in there that if we merge these two bodies, we can leverage and introduce more efficiency into the system. We also realize that the management of especially our energy sector SOEs ought to be strengthened. And so we're looking to adopt what pertains within the financial services sector, where there's clarity of board members' role and their fiduciary duties are spelled out with punitive measures outlined. We believe that that would ensure that the requisite efficiencies that are required in the power value chain is improved. We also intend to digitalize the revenue collection using the cash waterfall mechanism to enhance liquidity and reduce debt. How we do that is to introduce the cash waterfall mechanism allocations right at the tariff point, so that the collections that come in from the consumer is allocated at that point rather than going into a central account at ECG before they distribute. And so the formula is spelled out right from the very beginning. Everybody knows that the component of electricity that they have built, X amount is going to Gridco, X amount is going to ECG, X amount is going to VRA and all the players within the chain. We believe that that would ensure that there is sufficient enough liquidity and also help in reducing debt in the energy power space. Again, over the years, what we have done or what we have come to experience in the fuel procurement is that the fuel is usually procured from the center. We think that that in itself has its own inefficiencies. It does not augur for transparency, and so we want to move away from that and allow the IPPs to buy their own fuel, and what we then buy is energy, pure energy. We don't pay capacity and all those other related charges. You generate your power, and what we buy is the energy that comes out of there. We believe that that will help in the fostering competition and also lead to the improvement of transparency within the sector. So that's done for power. The next item on our manifesto is petroleum. And so I'll go straight into petroleum in focus. As I'm sure industry players are very much aware, there's the upstream and downstream sectors within the petroleum space. What we intend to do on the upstream side is to introduce a new fiscal regime to make Ghana a preferred destination for exploration and production. We also intend to include new onshore and transitional zones exploration policies. Indeed, and in fact, we have actually rolled that one out. We've introduced new policy in our onshore space. We've in the process of actually negotiating some offshore licenses for prospective investors who have approached the Ministry of Energy. We intend to replace the current reconnaissance license with a 2-year exploration license and make provision in the Petroleum Exploration and Production Act may